Hi, hello, hello. My name is Jamila Okanta Edwards, and welcome to Earth's Child podcast. I am a wife and stay at home homeschool mom to three boys. And Earth's Child is my space to talk about spirituality, regenerative living, and healing our relationship with the earth. That's the journey that my family is on, and this is my space to share that with you guys. So we can start off with a little bit of background about myself. My husband and I started this journey back in 2019 with simply working to reduce our waste, and slowly we expanded upon that. Since then, we started this in an apartment. We moved into a rental house. We moved back into an apartment, bought our first home, and recently moved into our forever home. And during that time, we started with reducing our waste, moved into community gardening, working with other local growers. And then when we moved into our first house, we focused on building out a garden, eating locally, supporting local farmers, continuing to reduce our waste and to learn more about the waste stream in our city and what recycling looks like in our city. What does composting look like in our city? Educating our kids. We spent a lot of time outside and supporting the Metro Park there, the trails. And then we moved into our forever home. And even though I love this home, not only did we move into a new city about 45 minutes away, the moving process was a lot on us. We left behind our established garden. We had a vegetable garden, and we also had a very extensive herbal garden. And we moved so that we didn't have those same connections with the local growers. We had to figure out composting in our new space. And here, I'm actually really, really excited to get growing. But this summer, it was just too chaotic for me to focus on that. So we haven't started growing, and I just feel really disconnected from the area that we were in before. Like, I felt like we were really getting our groove in our journey. And now it feels like I'm starting all over again. And I do have little notes here because I have ADHD, so sometimes I need, something to keep me on track. But I wanted to start this podcast because the process of moving was so hard that it really felt like you might be able to hear my kids. But I started this podcast because the process of selling our home, buying a new one, moving to a new city was so chaotic and strenuous, and we just never really regained our footing. I'm still struggling with keeping up with meals, cooking from scratch, watching the ingredients that we're eating. I haven't tapped into the local farm scene here, so we're not eating local foods. We don't have a garden here yet. There's a lot that just hasn't happened yet. We're not completely starting from scratch because we do have 6 years worth of knowledge to build on. But it feels like we're starting from scratch because we're just not plugged in and we're not into the routines that we're used to. So I am using this podcast to just kind of share what it's like for a regular urban family to live this life, and what's it like to start from scratch? What are the highs and lows? How are we going about it? And hopefully some tips for you guys if this is something that you're interested in doing as well. I really believe that part of the foundation for a holistically healthy life is rebuilding our relationship with the earth and with the ecosystem. We are nature. We are a part of nature. We're not separate from that, except for our culture, the way that we're living. And I live in the United States, so it could, definitely be different depending on where you live. But currently in the United States, the culture here definitely has us feeling like we're separate from nature, and that the daily decisions that we make don't impact it, or it doesn't matter how it impacts. It's what's most important is, convenience. And being a person that deals with mental health issues, anxiety, depression, ADHD, OCD, living in an urban environment, I truly understand the importance of convenience. Trust me, I get it. But at the same time, I think it's really important to see how that is affecting the ecosystem and how that also affects our mental health. That being said, I want to get into the next segment, which is what's going on in my life, a week in my life. This is a segment that I am going to usually start the podcast out with, but I kind of wanted to just introduce myself first. So now that we're done with that, what's going on a week in my life right now is today is Tuesday, September 9th. And while it's already fall for the general public, it's late summer for us. So we don't really, fall for us is autumn equinox, which is September 22nd. And my birthday is on the 21st, which is technically the last day of summer, but I like to use that time to welcome in fall. So I'm really excited about that. But the weeks between mid-August and mid-September, those last 4 weeks of summer are always really difficult for me because I struggle with transition. It's hard for me, and my family struggles with transition. And we're moving from the high energy, chaoticness of summer into a slower pace energy of fall. And that is always hard because I feel the pull of fall, and the rest of, the rest of the culture here has moves to fall really quickly, especially with the return to school. And then when you go into the stores and stuff, you see all of the fall stuff. So I feel a pull, a desire for fall, but energetically, we're just not quite there yet. And it always is uncomfortable for me. And I always have to kind of remind myself to slow down, don't rush the last couple weeks of summer, really lean into it and accept it and be okay with being uncomfortable, be okay with the toughness of transition, and enjoy those last few weeks of summer. It's a little bit easier for me when I have the garden because I'm out there regularly every day, and I am transitioning the garden, doing our last harvest, moving into our fall crops. But without that grounding me, I definitely just felt a little off this year, and it caused a lot of anxiety and a couple of days of depression. But thankfully, I'm feeling better. We're closer to the equinox. And this year is also a little bit different because as I said, we're homeschooling, but this is our first year that I'm really dedicated to schooling with all three kids. Now that my two younger children are older, they're now 4 and 6. I also have a 10-year-old who's my main child that I had been working with the past couple of years. And this is also our first homeschool year in this house. So our routine this year is going to be a little tougher, a little stricter than usual, or rather than it has been in the last couple of years, because the younger two are moving from play. I mean, we always do play-based learning, but they're moving from just play to learning in a sit-down type of way. So our routine is going to be a little bit stricter. This is also my 10-year-old's last year of elementary school before moving on to middle school level work. And there's just a lot of things that we need to work on with him to have him ready for that. So I feel a little bit of pressure this year. And I am reminding myself that part of the reason why we chose to homeschool is so that the whole family can ease into the transition of school and move from summer to fall. It doesn't have to be a hard reset. So I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks and all of us working together to kind of find our balance and find our rhythm. And I'm also looking forward to coming out with more episodes of Earth's Child and just getting to know you guys getting to know me, talking about what's going on with us, and really digging into what is regenerative living. What does it look like every day to heal our relationship with the earth as a family? And yeah, I feel like if I go too much longer, I'm going to be going on a tangent. So this is a bit of a shorter episode this week. I'll have longer episodes coming up, but if you have any questions or anything that you want me to address specifically, let me know. And I look forward to coming out with another episode. You can find me on Instagram at Jamila O. Edwards. You can find me on YouTube at Jamila O. Edwards, and the Substack as Earth's Child podcast. And this podcast is live and anywhere you can find podcasts. Well, mainly it'll be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys, and have a great